Hello and welcome to Van TV Media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends to get daily updates.
Guys, welcome back to Van TV Media. Guys, do you know why African countries remain poor? Do you know why African countries are down in form of development, in form of agricultural development, yet African countries has so many resources? Here in Africa we have gold, we have uranium, we have oil, but we are still remaining poor. Dr. Nicholas Howard has just said some things on how West countries are oppressing African countries to be poor the way we are. Just listen on what he has said about that issue, and we will proceed on.
Africa, historically, sub-Saharan Africa, has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay, but this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America are going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about.
That's how he has said about Africa being poor. Yet we have resources which can make us be in the high standard the way other countries like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, they are in good standard. You see, in Africa we have uranium, in Africa we have gold, in Africa we have copper, in Africa we have diamond. In Africa, whenever we talk about food stuff like coffee, cocoa, like cotton, we are the best producing those stuffs, yet we are poor. So Nicholas Howard has said on how these West countries are making sure that Africans are no longer improving in their lifestyle. Africans are no longer being rich. In case African become rich, all those West countries may lose whatever they are gaining in Africa. That's why they are maintaining to make African to be poor. He has also said that West are coming up with some of the systems that used to make African countries to be poor, and that is in a global economy. When we talk about the global economy, Nicholas asked that the global capitalist system is structured in a way that keeps developing countries, especially in Africa, dependent and improved shared. Rich countries benefit from cheap labor, raw material, and weak bargaining power in global south. So whereby I have told you, we African, we have so many resources that can make us be rich, but West countries are oppressing us to maintain being poor, so that those raw materials can enrich themselves. Whenever we come for development in Africa, he urged that not all countries are allowed to develop under global capitalism. Only a few countries make it to the top, while others are held back to serve the economic need of the powerful. Yes, loans from IMF and loans from World Bank. He has said that he has criticized aid and loans from institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, saying they often come with the condition that harm local economics, like cutting public spending, into privatizing industries, or opening up markets too quickly. Number 4 is that the wealth of African to be exhausted. He points out that African is rich in resource, but those resources are often extracted foreign corporation with the little benefits to local population. Yes, we saw there's an interview. Ibrahim Traore said that the France government used to come to Burkina Faso and extract gold and extract uranium, but they don't give back to the community. Whenever even the place where the uranium is, you may not find a good road to direct you to where the gold is being mined. So these people are just mean, but they come in Africa to get the resources to enrich themselves. He has urged the African to have change. He has urged the African to have change, and that real development requires breaking away from exploitative global system and building economic independence, building stronger local industries and control over the resources. So African, we are supposed to have, as African leaders, we are supposed to come up with the system whereby we have to capitalize our own resources. We are supposed to use our own resources instead of allowing the foreign countries to come in and get the way Ibrahim Traore is trying to fight to the people of Burkina Faso. So we've seen some of the people Sahel region have stood up and decided to make sure that their resources are well used by the people of the region, and decided to do away with the West countries like France. You see, Sahel region like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have woken up. That's why we are urging all the African countries to wake up and make sure that the resources which are there in Africa to be used by the people of Africa, the resources which are there here in Africa, to make sure that in case those resources are being sold into those West countries, we are getting the right amount of money that we are supposed to get, and use those amount of money to develop our country, to do away with the poorest, whereby you see most people here in Africa are poor, no shelter, no housing, no everything in Africa, yet we have the materials that can make us enrich ourselves. So guys, this is how Nicholas Howard had urged Africans. This is how the spirit of we African we are supposed to get from Ibrahim Traore, so that we can make sure that African become the best continent ever in the world. Guys, let us meet in the next episode.
Hello and welcome to Van TV Media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends to get daily updates.